So let's get more on Snapchat's troubles now, and let's go to New York next and talk to Natan Edelsberg. He's the executive director of the Drums Found Remote, which is a marketing and media website. Natan, welcome as always to Money Talks. Never mind what Kylie Jenner thinks about Snapchat. What do you think about the revamp? Is it easier to use?
I've personally been very confused by it. I'm not as heavy a user as Kylie was, but I definitely am a little bit confused by it, and I think they're getting a lot of backlash from it and not really handling it that well.
Yeah, I noticed you used the past tense there, used. Does the slump in Snap's share price, what does it tell us about how powerful so-called influencers are? Does it speak more to that or how weak Snap's business model is?
You know, I think Snap's business model, I wouldn't describe it as weak. I'd describe it as evolving and not really maybe meant for Wall Street. But I think, you know, social networks are like fashion trends. They could come and go as quick as a type of clothing that you wear. And similar as in the fashion industry, you have a celebrity wearing something, they stop wearing something, everyone stops wearing something. This could really have a big impact on them. I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of smart people working for Snap and Snapchat, and I think they'll figure out what they need to do to keep attracting people. But I think there's still, you know, a culture and community of younger users, teenagers, maybe even a little bit younger, who are still using Snapchat heavily because it's not yet a place where their parents and, you know, older siblings are. So I still think it has that cool factor. But I think being a public company that could literally see their stock price drop so dramatically from one celebrity tweet, they need to be communicating better about this redesign. And there's definitely been a lot of big tech companies that have completely gone away because of major fails when it comes to design changes, and I don't think they want to be one of them.
Do you think Snap is facing what I would term as an Uber moment, in the sense that does it rapidly need to grow up and kind of get more mature management in to manage this transition from something that appeals to people in their teens to perhaps something that's got longer legs for the future?
Sure. I mean, I think when it comes to Uber, there were a tremendous amount of issues when it came to sexual harassment, company culture that were constantly in the news. I don't think Snap has necessarily those kinds of issues or at that scale, but I do think that they're facing an issue that we've seen with a lot of younger genius tech founders where they need to change the way that they're interacting with the public. And I think not only has the redesign, you know, really upset people, but they haven't done a good job at addressing it. In their recent quarterly earnings, which, you know, were, I think, their best quarter to date, they didn't really address it that well. They kind of swept it under the rug. That's how people are interpreting it. And I think, you know, when a company recognizes there was a problem or a mistake or miscommunication, the worst thing to do is to ignore it.
Do you think it can successfully monetize its appeal to 13 to 34-year-olds, or does it need to adapt and appeal to an older demographic?
I think it needs to adapt and eventually appeal to an older demographic to grow. I think if they'll be able to get there independently without being acquired by someone eventually or without dramatically changing, I'm not really sure. But I think from a product perspective, they're going to need to find a way to differentiate themselves. Facebook and Instagram more or less copy what they do, and they really need to find a way to differentiate.
That was going to be my next question. Can they successfully beat Facebook and Instagram at this game very quickly, Natan?
I don't think they can. I think if their ultimate goal is to try and outpace Facebook and Instagram, I think it's going to be a failure. I think what they're going to need to do is find a way to create a different offering or a different feature or a different, you know, device that could capture people. They attempted it with their, you know, spectacles, which were hot for a moment, but sales have dipped tremendously. I think they're going to have to find something new.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Natan Edelsberg of the Drums Found Remote in New York. Thank you so much.